5-minute drive.
This is the beginning of something really, really, really dope. I think for a while I've been working in the background, kind of developing some things, but I think now is the time to kind of start the trading journey, the video documentation, right? Because one thing's for sure, I'm going to be ending this year funded. Like, that's a fact. If I have to take 5K my Forex funds challenges for every single month up until the end of the year, that's what I'm going to do. But I'm definitely ending off this quarter funded, and this year 6-figure funded, with various prop firms, of course. But this is going to be the actual journey. This is going to be the documentation of that journey. It's been a long time coming. I think kind of seeing the progress over the years from 2021, 22, and finally now, and having taken the course earlier, I feel like I'm at a place where, the wheels are turning, or like the lock and key moment, right? And I just feel like this is one of those parts that I want to have full proper documentation of, kind of like a story, you know what I mean? Because for a very long time I've always been very obsessed with how that morning, that week, that day, that the biggest life-changing thing happens, is like, you know what I mean? Do you know it? Are there signs everywhere? I don't know, but we're about to find out. Hope you guys enjoy this journey. Welcome to my 6-figure journey. And I think this has to be the worst part of trading, I think the part where I don't know. I think the part where you know that you still don't know is better than the part where it kind of feels like you're waiting for the gears to turn, like you're waiting for something to click and you don't know what that thing is, I think that's really frustrating, because I think I tend to look at where I'm at, right? In terms of knowledge, I got that down. In terms of studying material, studying people, studying the market structure, all of that crazy stuff, I have that down. It's just, and I know when I probably get to that point I'll understand it in the context of now. But for other traders as well who are consistently profitable, I think they know that part of just deep frustration as far as waiting for that turning point, the lock and key moment where it clicks. Alright guys, update on my Forex Funds 5K account. So I will preface this by saying that I was up 6%, and now I'm currently down 10.57%, right, on my challenge. And not gonna cap, I'd say a good 8% of that was just bad psychology. I went full tilt, and now we're down 10.7%, but I kind of understand why. Also, update, so apparently starting this Monday, so by the time you see this, it will already be available or already be part of the features, but there's no 30-day time limit anymore on the challenge phase 1 and phase 2. So I only found that out like way off the tilt, and I'm like, damn, this would have been really cool to know before I got to this point, psychologically, And to say the least, we're down that 10.5%, but I think I'm like starting to get it, I'll show you guys the account, but I'm really starting to get it. But in all honesty, I think there is a little bit of frustration, but I also think at the same time the reason behind failing challenges now and not meeting some of these goals is the impatience. I definitely feel like I really approached it with a very impatient mindset or mental state, right? Because I think with these things, especially when you start getting very good results, it's very easy to kind of think you're there yet, you know what I mean? You still need to stay humble within that part, because there's still so much that you have yet to learn. So we're down 10%. I was definitely very impatient. So right now what I'm not sure of is if I'm going to continue risking 0.5% or 0.25% just to get out of the hole, or just get a new challenge altogether. I'm heavily leaning towards buying a new challenge altogether, but I think for the most part I'll just kind of see how everything goes down with this coming week and all of that crazy stuff. But yeah, it's definitely quite the journey. Hashtag 0 to 6 figure series. yeah. Heavily still stuck on 0. But at the same time, I don't know. I think to be at a point where now the only problem that I'm facing is like the psychology thing, I think I'm also kind of proud, because there was a point where I just didn't get it. It's one thing to know that you're working against yourself, right? Like, I feel like in a way that's a bit of that's a different battle, you know what I mean? But like when you just don't know what's going on, oh my God, you're just trying to feel it out, just getting a punch in the face every single move you make. You're like, whoa, what's going on, right? So to be at a point where you're like, nah, I know what I should be doing, I just still don't have faith in that, right? That being the challenge now, I think it's still a pretty dope place to kind of complain from, I guess. Oh man. Trading update, right? Today is the 24th. It's a Monday, 24th. The time is currently 1:15 p.m. And I just got out the hole. Like, yo, man, just literally last Friday, I was down a good 10.57%, and I was so close to throwing in the towel, you know what I mean? But instead, because the thing is, one, I was like 1% away from max drawdown, and I remember thinking, damn, I need to buy a new challenge again. Oh my God. Right? And I don't know, like I'd honestly almost given up. But the thing is, I realized that a lot of those results, or what had happened last week, was a lot of FOMO trading and kind of just being all over the place in terms of like the market structure. So I took that as an opportunity to instead stay away from the charts and use the weekend as an opportunity to kind of review everything. Because obviously when you hit tilt, you're not looking at anything, you're not looking at your journal, you're not recording anything. So I literally put the charts away, and then just hit the books again, man. One, I'd already realized that obviously my psychology was completely out of whack, but I also used that as an opportunity to kind of relearn and try and figure out what I was missing. And I think that's the main thing about being at this part of the journey, whereby it's not so much the lack of skill, but it's kind of like when you're doing maths equations and then you forget to carry the one or carry over this thing or that coefficient and all that crazy stuff. I think that's what it felt like for the most part. Good morning. So today is currently the 28th. It's Friday, the 28th of July. And I'm feeling good, a little mad, but I'm feeling particularly good today, because I didn't actually pass phase 1. However, I'm not down in a hole again. I'm about 1% down. I could have actually passed, right? There was a setup that presented itself today. Well, technically yesterday, and it was so perfect. But the thing is, I'll show you the setup. There was still some resting liquidity above the area that I wanted to place myself from. That would have taken me like through the entire phase 1. But I think I'm using this opportunity as a way to kind of maintain my good psychology, right? Because as much as I didn't pass phase 1 this week, I'm just going to use this opportunity to kind of put into contrast how last week around this time I was down damn near 11%, and fast forward to this week on Friday and I'm only down 1%, which means I made 10% this week, right? So me kind of being mad that I didn't take the setup that presented itself this week after the one that got me out of the hole, and then continuing to kind of force the trade would be bad psychology on my part, because that would essentially mean that I'm being greedy because I'm really trying to get that 20%, you know what I mean? So instead of crying about not getting 20% in a week, I can rather use this as an opportunity to kind of stay calm, cool, collected, and prepare for the coming week. And I can still hit 10%, so, you know.
Find your dreams come true, and I wonder if you know what it means, what it means, and I wonder.
There's so much that I sacrificed to be able to be in the position that I am, to be able to focus on trading with the conviction and time that I have right now, you know what I mean? Because I understood what the other side looks like. But because you don't know the timeline of either one of those things, and you just kind of have to go through it, you still have to show up to the markets every single day, technically, and execute, not knowing what's going to happen and just hoping that at some point this curve is going to start going up, definitely takes a toll. And sometimes I think, I don't know, I wouldn't say I necessarily think about giving up, you know what I mean? Because I think I'm definitely at a point where it's crazier for me to stop now than it is for me to just continue on until the very end. But I think it's looking back at the sacrifices that it took to just be in this position. It's definitely something to think about, you know. But I think with that as well, I still kind of try to remind myself why I got into this, why I continue to do it, and why I want to be as good as I want to be at this, you know? Yeah, so today is currently the 3rd of August, 2023, and I'm in the kitchen. It's in the morning. I just woke up a little while ago, and I wanted to talk about alignment. Not just alignment, but I guess believing in the process and believing in the journey and manifestation. Yes, I want to talk about manifestation. Right. Yesterday was particularly difficult, and I mean, you saw where my mind was at. But there's often a paradigm shift every time it's a new day and it's a new morning and the sun is out. I get to see the sunrise, right? And I was thinking about how, like 2 days ago, I went to the Armani store and Versace store and stuff like that. And I seldomly do these things where I go to stores that I ideally want to shop in or at in the future. Going to car dealerships and all that crazy stuff. And I think for the most part, in as much as the frustration is like a really big part of this journey, or can be a very noticeable part of this journey, right? I think it helps to put these things in the forefront, in the vision, you know what I mean? To keep remembering the good parts that you're kind of working towards and kind of align yourself with them. You know, I think one of the best things I ever heard was you become the version of yourself that you want to become by pretending to be that person every single day, because over time, those little steps in those acts that you do, you eventually become that person, you know? And I think it's very interesting, it's very calming, you know? And I think in regards to trading in general, if I'm being honest, I think there's another level of surrendering that I need to get to. There's another level of giving myself to this thing. And I was thinking about it particularly because there's no more limit in terms of the days with the challenges, you know? And I think as far as manifestations go, I genuinely can't wait to be 100K funded, 200K funded, with various prop firms, one being my Forex funds, True Forex funds, and FTMO. Perhaps another one pops up, but I really, really, really want to have six figures in funding, just for about 200K accounts. Afternoon. Today is currently the 15th. It's Monday, the 15th of August, 2023. And trading update. So, there isn't much to say other than the fact that my nose is blocked right now. Currently, I'm down 5.5%, I believe, on my account. Still phase one, and I'm currently about 35 days into the challenge. So things are moving kind of steadily, but kind of slow as well, I think what I plan to do right now is risking a full percent just to kind of get me over the break-even point, and then from there risk half percent to get across the line. I'm hoping that around towards the end of this month I'll have been past the phase one and have already started the phase two account. Today is currently the 24th of August, right? So I'm about 2 months into my challenge now. And yeah, we still haven't passed, right? But I haven't passed and I haven't failed either. I'm still doing the break-even dance. And currently, right now, right, I'm trying to kind of figure out a way to kind of make my system mechanical, because I realized that's one of the things that's holding me back, and that's kind of the only crack in the psychology as far as trying to execute this thing, because I still feel like it's a little too much discretion in how I enter trades, not necessarily exit, but just how I enter and when and why and all these things and da da da. So I'm just trying to put myself in a position where I'm able to execute one particular thing or model flawlessly. And the thing is, I was already there at some point in time, but I think while I was trying to develop that strategy or means of entry, I was always sort of caught in the fact that a lot of challenges at the time still had time limits. So it was, okay, cool, you have this strategy and rules of entry and this and this and this and that, but you have to do it in 30 days. So because of that, I feel like that's when I kind of started being lenient in breaking some of the rules and stuff like that, because it's like, yes, cool, this doesn't follow my rules, but I have like 20 more days to pass this challenge. So I think with that gone, I think now I'm kind of in a better position, a better place to kind of put myself back into that mentality and pass. But currently I'm down 8%, I believe, or 8.5%, which kind of sucks because there was a point where I was only down 3%. At the beginning of this week, actually, I was down 3%, back down to 8. Trying to buffer myself up again, and hopefully this will work out well. So, a little update. I'm currently down 9.5%. It's kind of funny because in the last episode, there's a part of it where I was down 10.57%, and I had just gotten out the hole, and now I'm essentially back in the hole, right? But I've learned quite a few things from this. I think it was very necessary. I think what this challenge is allowing me to kind of understand and kind of see is essentially the importance of the rules that I have in place, which, I mean, yeah, duh, right? But also just how they function, and it's a sort of breaking and restructuring kind of process as far as some of the things that I have in place in terms of like my entry models and setups and stuff like that, right? Because I think that stuff I was not completely clear on. There was still some very unconscious competence with that stuff, where there was a very big part of my trading methodology and entry system that was largely vague, right? Like, I knew it worked, but not why and how and in what type of market conditions and stuff like that. So there is that element to it, and essentially kind of working through that is going to be what this episode right here is about, because I think what it's allowed me to kind of understand and put into perspective is trading is more. In fact, I actually wrote this down in one of my journal entries this morning, right? Where basically I was like, I think trading isn't necessarily about how can I remove every single risk from the current trade that I'm in right now and make it a winner. It's just playing the edge. So it's not about how do I make sure I win this trade, but instead it's more a thing of how do I execute this current trade that I'm about to enter the exact same way as I executed the previous one before it, right? Previous one before it, right? So whether that one lost or not, or like it won, that's fine. But my aim or goal is to execute this current trade the exact same way as I did the previous one. All right. So, trading update. Today is currently the 30th of August, and we have officially failed the 5K account, right? Not great. There's definitely still some tweaks that have to be made to the strategy. I don't think it's necessarily something new that has to be learned, but more so the implementation of the strategy or the edge in the market in a way that's also kind of good for me mentally or psychologically, right? So it's definitely been quite the journey. It lasted 2 months almost, so I filled it out at about day 50, so that's cool. But yeah, on to the next one, on to the next challenge. I think right now it's just a matter of refining some of the systems and processes that I have in place. This episode is about showing those processes live, so we will be hopping back on the charts here and there. But I think as a mental note, I'm not as frustrated or as bummed out as I have been the other times that I failed these challenges. Or at least I'm not bummed out by the fact that I failed it, just more so I'd say bummed out at the fact that I really had high hopes for this one, but that didn't work out. And that's just the nature of trading. And I think looking back at it and kind of seeing the progress, you kind of realize some of the things that sort of cement the bad habits here and there, and the things that kind of add to the good habits, and kind of finding a way to mitigate all those things together. And I think more than anything, I'm gonna still keep my head up, I'm gonna still keep my chin up, we still gonna get at it. It'll obviously be baby steps from here, but I'm honestly not gonna give up. I won't, it's not gonna happen, but it's just taking a significant amount of time. And at this point, I don't know how and when it's gonna work out. I just know that I can't stop. I just know that I can't give up. I just know that I can't let it go, and I have to keep better. I have to keep getting better, every day. Putting in the work, putting in the hours, and we'll definitely come out on top. And I think this moment, this part of trading, this part of taking firm challenges is in a lot of ways like training for a game or just training for anything physically. There's so much kicking and screaming and throwing up and crying that you can do, but at the end of the day, your body's gonna grow when it grows. The muscle's gonna grow as and when it grows. And I think it's a similar thing with trading. It's going to come as and when it should. And it's just one of those things of honestly just staying alive to the finish line. So we'll check back in the next couple of videos. And for now, I can't wait to start the retry or take my next challenge. But that's me for today. Also, as a bit of a mental note, I'm honestly not trying to end this video on a very somber note, but this is more of like a video to my future self. This is for after getting funded, or this is for after passing this next 5K challenge that I'm going to take. You have worked too goddamn hard to let this get over your head. To get right, celebrate it, enjoy it, bask in it, relish in it. But there's a 10K challenge to be had. There's a 20K challenge, a 200K challenge to be had. There's still so much that we gotta do. But with that said, I'm so fucking proud of this moment right now. I'm so glad that I fucking finally got it and passed. And it's only up from here.